Howdy everybody, this is Bake with IronThroneCraft.com. Today we're going to talk about looking at battle reports and figuring out what the attacker is sending at you, what the defender is using, and we're going to get into leverage a little bit as well. Now the way I'm going to do this is by going into Gold Moon and hitting people. So if you're one of the people I hit, I'm sorry. Both the people that I am going to hit in this video both had great setups, so good job to both of them. We'll go over that step by step and show it up. So what I'm showing right now is the hero gear that I'm going to be using. Now, first of all, we're going to have Infidus, and he's going to have a Majestic accessory equipped with +5 rad. The other one is going to be Deathlord. He's going to have the Archer accessory that has increased Archer leverage. The second hero is going to be Maya. She's going to have Aspirant gear on head and chest. She's going to have Crimson Outcry bow and weapon, and then Majestic accessories that are upgraded as well. Third one is going to be just your straight Raj setup, which is going to be the head and chest of Radiant, and then weapons of Crimson Outcry and Majestic accessories. We're using Crimson Outcry because we want more infantry gear. Infantry debuffs. Also brought a hero in that is straight Raj, that has just straight Majestic weapons instead of Crimson Outcry, so we can show some attack debuff stuff as well. Now, first of all, this is the first one I hit. See, I used Deathlord there, so I hit him with 2 sets of Radiant. So this one's moot. We don't want to look at this one. This was an oopsie. But I'm going to go in. I'm going to hit him with the correct gear in just a second. We're going to go through. We're going to look at the stats and everything else like that, and we're going to see exactly what it is. So now I'm sending Radiant gear with Aspirant hybrid, and then a Radiant Majestic hybrid after that. So see, we killed 21 million on this one. See, then we went into preemptive strike phase. It ended in preemptive strike phase. See that he has no defense or HP left on his infantry troops. That's what we're going for. He's got mixed troops on bottom. The only type we killed are infantry because we got them fully debuffed. See my archer stats there and my infantry debuff stats there. That means I'm sending Crimson Outcry. If you see that in a difference report, that's what that means. See the amount of attack I have when attacking? That means that I'm sending Radiant gear. See his attack debuff. See how it's at 7,000? That tells me he's using Crimson Steel gear. So all 3 of those things are immediate red flags that you can look at that will show you that that is what these various things mean. So now I switch over. I'm sending the leverage accessory at him now. See, the leverage accessory hits a little bit harder. Killed 22 million there. If we scroll down and we look at his stats, we see that we still ended in preemptive phase. We see he's got more attack, and he's still HP zeroed. So if you're ending in the preemptive phase anyways, and you have them HP zeroed, that means that leverage will hit harder. That's what we learned right there with that one. So that's going to be useful when hitting infantry apps. Now I blow them up. See, I hit them for 76 million troops that time. The reason? We went to main attack phase. Why did we go to main attack phase? Because I got his attack zeroed. I got his attack zeroed by sending Radiant head and chest with Majestic gear. All Majestic gear. I pulled Crimson Outcry off my last hero. I got him attack zeroed. We went into main phase. So now we're going to send the leverage accessory this time instead of the Majestic accessory. That's what we switched on this hit. Back down to 22 million kills. The reason we went back down to 22 million kills is because we ended in the preemptive phase. So what we learned from this is if you hit and you end in the preemptive phase and you've got their HP zeroed, or their stats are going to be about the same, leverage will hit harder. If you are going to get into the main phase by zeroing their attack, then you want to pull leverage for attack debuff. Basically anything that can get you into the main phase. See right there, 77 million kills. That's how that is. So now we're going to look at somebody that's actually set up as an infantry trap. And it's going to be stay alive. We'll get to that in just a second after I look at this report for no reason for a little bit longer. Well, I do want to show you here. Leveraged infantry damage increase. See that 230? That's the base number. See my debuff stats right there. That means that I'm sending Crimson Outcry gear again. And as you can see, 886, 986, that added to my HP buff is going to add up quite a bit. See my leveraged archer attack increase? It's at 290. That is over base. That tells you if you're defending and you see that somebody's leverage attack is over 230, that means that they are sending leverage runes at you, or they're sending a full set of single type gear. Full sets of single type gear have leverage damage increased on them. Again, he's got 7k attack debuff. I've got 5100 attack debuff as an attacker. If your attacker has that much attack debuff, it tells you that they are sending Majestic gear at you. You see my additional damage to tier 1 and tier 2 troops is only at 5200. 5,200 is a low number. That means that I'm not sending a bunch of radiant accessories, and it means that I'm not sending a lot of attack accessories like Outcry, Crimson Outcry, that kind of stuff. See, his enemy tier 6 preemptive strike debuff is all the way up at 43%. Base on that is 25%. If the preemptive strike debuff is at 43% or, over 25%, that tells you that they're either using Crimson Steel or they're using Aspirant, which he's not, or they're using Majestic. I know with that attack debuff and with that preemptive strike debuff, that tells me he's using Steel. That means that more attack debuff will get his attack zeroed. That is something you can look at. So now look at this guy. 95-20 attack leftover with defense and HP on infantry. What does that tell you? It tells you he's single type. See that? 91-17 infantry attack, 26-10 defense, and 30-82 HP. That is a ton of infantry stats. See his leveraged infantry damage increase? That tells me that he is running infantry gear and a full set of it because his leverage is higher. See, his enemy attack debuff is really, really low. That means that he is not running Crimson Steel gear. And so that's what I learned just from that first hit right there. Because of his increased leverage, it tells me that he is running single type gear that's not Aspirant gear. So he's running level 40 single type gear. So let's hit him again. Let's switch over to leverage this time. So now Deathlord is going in. Deathlord's got the leverage accessory on. See, we hit him a little bit harder there. Not much harder because he's still got a ton of stats left on his infantry. See how he has more attack now, a little bit more defense, a little bit more HP. But the fact of the matter is he's ending it in preemptive strike phase anyways. We're not getting his HP zeroed. So leverage is going to hit harder. See how his attack, HP, and defense are all lower on the other one? And then on this one right here, attack, defense, and HP are higher. The only change there is that I sent more leverage. If we scroll down and we look at my stats here, we see number 1, his stats are through the roof with infantry gear. Number 2, see I sent more Crimson Outcry gear. I've got higher archer attack, higher of the 2 infantry debuffs, and then see my leveraged archer damage increase, 346. That's because I stacked leverage, I stacked infantry debuffs all the way on that one. And that's what that tells you. If you take a hit from somebody and their stats look like that, that's what they're doing right now. You scroll down, you see my enemy troop attack debuff is only 4k. That means I'm not using very much Majestic. If we scroll down and keep on looking at his stats, look at his additional damage to tier 1 and tier 2 troops. It's all the way up at 16,000. Now from what I said earlier, you know that means that he is using combat gear to defend with. Like, that's a stupid statement, but you understand what I'm getting at. He's using infantry gear to defend with because of that tier 1 and tier 2 damage. He's getting additional stats off that. See, his preemptive strike debuff is at base 25%. That means he's got no Crimson Steel on. He doesn't, or, full set of Aspirant. Ooh. So there's that. So I hope this helps you look at battles that you take, hits that you take. You can look and you can see what the attacker sent and see how to try to fix that. If you hit somebody, you can also use this to look at the stats, figure out what they're using, and figure out how to counter it. Like, subscribe, expect some good combat videos with this infantry cracker coming up. Thanks for watching.